If you've been wanting to create a digital coloring book that you can actually sell online, well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to create one from start to finish and a simple strategy for selling them online. Starting your artist entrepreneur journey by selling digital coloring books is one of the smartest moves you can make as a beginner. Not only because it is creatively rewarding, but because the earning potential per sale is often much higher than what you could receive selling a paperback copy of your self-published book on Amazon KDP. When you sell a digital coloring book, even after platform fees, you keep far more of each sale compared to the small royalty you receive from a paperback coloring book. And since there's no printing, no inventory, and no shipping, that combination of low overhead, especially if you're illustrating yourself and you're not contracting out the illustration or using AI even, which does have a cost, plus keeping more each sale is what makes creating digital coloring books such a powerful place to start. So today I'm going to walk you through the entire process, all without using AI, so let's go ahead and get started. So first we'll talk about organizing and planning. A digital coloring book has a lot of moving parts and a lot of details you kind of need to iron out before you get started. And if you're not organized, it can get overwhelming really fast. So I like to break down the project workflow into a simple checklist. Step 1 would be ideas and inspiration. Step 2 is page plans, like how many pages and what each page will be like. Step 3 is artwork production. Step 4 is exporting and file preparation. And then step 5 is preparing your listing. And then finally, step 6 would be actually listing it for sale. Once you've done this workflow many times, it becomes really natural. But if you need to keep a checklist, like either a physical copy or a digital copy on your iPad, I completely understand and I highly recommend it. So I've created a PDF for you of this checklist that you can use for your own project, and it is linked down below and it's free for you to download. So now that our workflow is organized and we have a plan of action, we need to get started on it. So the first thing we're going to do is come up with our theme. That's what's expected now of a coloring book that people buy online, either physical copies or digital copies. So this part is really important. I shared a video on how I come up with my coloring page ideas, and I'll link that in the screen if you want to watch that. But here's a quick rundown of how I come up with ideas. My ideas can come from something from my real life. I live in the Pacific Northwest in the US, and I'm surrounded by a lot of nature, and nature is such a great inspiration for me. I know that's a very common thing, but when you live in it, it becomes very natural to use it in your art. And sometimes it can be as simple as the wild animals that just visit my backyard. I don't even have to go travel up into the mountains to really gain inspiration. So even if it's just like a little cute squirrel in my backyard, I'm going to use that. And then sometimes I create coloring pages based on characters that I already draw. And these would be original characters. Maybe it's something that I've been sharing on my Instagram, just fun illustrations that I've been sharing with my followers. And I'll take that character and turn it into a coloring page. And if ever I'm in doubt, I just draw cute food. Cute food is something that I kind of fall back on just as fun and comfort drawing to begin with, but then it creates great coloring pages too, and people really enjoy coloring them. But there are so many ways to get good ideas for your coloring pages, but these are the ones that I rely on the most. So for instance, today, my idea is animals and food. So just basically everything I was just talking about. But recently I shared a video on how to translate everyday objects into cute and cozy coloring pages. And my theme of that day was a bear eating blueberries from a blueberry bush. And that's inspired me today to create an entire coloring book, in this case a digital coloring book, using that theme. So once I've decided my theme, I start compiling a list of coloring page ideas, and I do that using Pinterest. Pinterest is basically just a visual search engine. I use it to collect real-life reference images and organize inspiration for a specific coloring book theme. For my coloring book ideas, I create one main board just for coloring book references, and then inside that board, I create subsections for each theme. For this project, I'm using a section called Animals with Food. I really need to come up with a cute and clever title for my final coloring book, but for now, that's my working theme. When I'm searching, I'm not looking for coloring pages or line art. Instead, I search for real environments and scenes that fit that theme. I'm just going to stick to Pacific Northwest Midwest native animals because that's what I know and I love it so much. So that's going to be like squirrels with acorns, skunks, and whatever it is that they like from my backyard. And same with deer, they're always in my yard, and so on and so on. So since the illustrations in my coloring book will be an imagined world, not a realistic one, I'm only using simple reference images to loosely guide each page. Over time, this gives me a curated library of references I can use while I'm designing my coloring book pages. So even if my coloring book is only going to be like 30 pages long, I pull many more references than I would even need. And that's because it's way easier to build a strong coloring book when you provide yourself with a rich bank of ideas. So once I have all of my references and inspiration, we're ready to start sketching our illustrations. I like to set up all of my canvases in Procreate first, and this becomes the roadmap of my entire coloring book collection. And I start by creating a stack in my Procreate gallery that will hold all the illustrations I make for my digital coloring book. So I set up my canvases to match the final product size. A digital coloring book should be 8.5 inches by 11 inches because that is the standard size that home printers are able to print. So for now, I'll create my first canvas using that size. I will tap on the plus button and then I will choose the one label paper. And you just want to make sure that your canvas is set to 300 dpi. You can go to actions and then canvas information to make sure that you have the right DPI. This is going to allow you to create really high quality images that aren't going to print fuzzy. And then once that's created, I go back out and I create another one. Yet again, I will go back out to the gallery and tap and hold on one of those canvases and place it on the other to create a stack. And then I name that stack after my coloring book theme, which again is animals and food, and hopefully I come up with a better name later. Now every illustration for this coloring book lives in one place from the very beginning. This makes the entire process feel a lot more organized, and this also sets up my files in a way that makes everything easier later when I go to export it. And so now that our canvases are ready, we can start sketching. And I like to start with very rough sketches first, just to block out each of my scenes. While I'm doing this, I like to aim for variety. I like to have a few simple pages of maybe just one hero image each, and then a few detailed pages, a mix of characters, objects in different scenes, and pages that feel like they belong together. At this stage, I'm not trying to draw clean. I'm just figuring out composition, what the page is about, and how I want the scene to feel. And I like doing these quick, rough sketches so that I can move fast, keeping the energy up and making quick decisions so that everything is laid out. I'm not overthinking anything. This part is all about momentum, and if you can work through this part quickly, it's going to make the whole process a lot shorter, and it's not going to feel like you're working on this coloring book for weeks and weeks at a time. Once I have all of my rough ideas, I start refining my sketches as needed. At this stage, I want to set it up so that the final page is clear, readable, and fun to color. And then once those sketches are done, I'm ready to start my final black line art of each illustration. And this is the most satisfying step because this is when it starts looking like a real coloring book page. For digital coloring books, the goal is consistent sizing, clean line work, and pages that print well and look good on screen. So I'll lower the opacity of each sketch layer and then draw clean black lines on a new layer above it. As I'm lining, I'm thinking about coloring book specific details, like making shapes close so that they're easy to color, avoiding tiny, muddy details, smoothing edges, and making sure it looks good even when printed. And then when all of the line art is finished, the coloring book suddenly feels real. And now we're just ready to start prepping it to sell it online. This is the part that transitions your fun drawing project into a product that you're selling. So once all of my pages are finished, I prep them for download. I export each one properly so that the resolution stays crisp, the blacks stay bold, the file isn't blurry when printed, and the PDF isn't too massive so that it takes forever to download. Then I compile everything into a final PDF and I export it to my computer and prepare everything listing for selling on an online marketplace. And you definitely want to give users the option to color this in digitally. So I also export each illustration as a transparent PNG that they could use on their iPads and color it in digitally, like on Adobe Fresco or Procreate, of course. One thing I love about digital coloring books is that you can add value without adding additional cost. And you can do that by offering bonuses that go with your coloring book, such as a themed color palette or even a version formatted specifically for Procreate. Little bonuses like this make the product feel premium and they will make people excited to buy them. So now we're going to talk about preparing our listing for sale. So before you actually go out to the online marketplace to start building your listing, it's good to prepare all of your files and all of your listing images before you go out to try to do that. Having everything ready beforehand makes the listing process much smoother, and it can even help avoid confusion for buyers. So first thing I do is I create my listing images, and each online marketplace has its own recommended sizes. So it's smart to go out to those websites and research what size would fit best on their listing images. Canva makes it really easy because you can create your images at one size and then resize it for the different platforms without recreating them from scratch. I like to use Canva and create a small set of clear, informative graphics. So like a clean cover page, a collage showing simple coloring pages, a graphic that is going to tell them what's included in the purchase, and a simple instructions image explaining how to download and print. This way, customers know exactly what they're getting before they make their purchase. And while I'm here in Canva, I also create the simple README page that will be included in the download. This is just a short instruction sheet that walks the customer through how to download the files, how to print the pages at home, and any tips for best results when using them at home. Including this extra page helps cut down on confusion, reduces customer questions, and makes the whole product feel a lot more polished and professional. So now that we have our listing images, we want to also organize our files so that we can upload them to the online marketplace that we're going to sell them on. So before we upload anything to an online marketplace, it's really smart to have everything organized and clean before you upload them for sale. This helps avoid upload issues, and it keeps everything organized and clean, and it keeps everything easy for the customer to use so that they have the best user experience that you can offer. So step one is first we need to check the file size limits on each of the online marketplaces that we're going to sell on. Etsy allows 5 files per listing, but they each have a file size limit of 20 megabytes. That's pretty small, but that's not going to be the only online marketplace we're going to be selling this one on. We're also going to be selling on Gumroad, and Gumroad has a whopping 16 gigabytes. And this is all according to what I could find online. You might have to be a little strategic on how you upload your files on Etsy. So because Etsy has such a smaller size limit, you want to make sure your main coloring book PDF stays under that limit. And to help with this, you can export your PDF at a high quality, but avoid unnecessarily large file settings. Make sure that the PDF is the black line art only, since color dramatically increases the file size. If your PDF is over that 20 megabyte limit, you can either slightly lower the export quality, or you could split the book up into multiple PDFs. For example, you can have a part 1 and a part 2. Or you can use Adobe's online PDF compressor to reduce its size, and I've done that one a lot. And then step 2, we want to organize our transparent PNGs into folders. If you're including transparent PNG files, like individual coloring pages for Procreate, keep them neatly organized. And you can name the files in logical order, like page 1, page 2, etc. And since Etsy doesn't allow uploading folders directly, the next step is really important. Step 3 is zip your PNG folder. If you have a desktop computer, it will do the work for you when you right-click or control-click and choose compress. And again, make sure it doesn't exceed the file size limits for Etsy. And if it does, I just divide them into multiple folders and then zip them separately. And now we're ready for step 4. 4, which is the final step before uploading. And that's just kind of looking it over and making sure you have everything you need. So before uploading, I like to double check that I have the main coloring book PDF, the zip file or files with the transparent PNGs if included, and then the README page or the instruction page, as well as any bonuses that I promised in my listing. Taking a few extra minutes to organize your files like this will alleviate any confusion that you have when you go to upload it, but it can also make sure everything's organized for your customers as well. And once everything is ready, we're ready for that final step on our checklist, which is listing it. I create listings and make sure delivery is smooth. And that's one of the best parts of digital products. As soon as the person purchases it, they can get it instantly. And if you build it right, this product becomes something that you can sell while you're doing other things, while you're taking care of your family or yourself, or it's just something that you sell in your sleep. And that is why I love selling digital products so much. And you can choose any of the online marketplaces or your own website to start selling immediately. And today I'm going to be selling this one on Etsy and Gumroad. These are all excellent platforms to sell digital coloring books. Or you can take it a step further and offer this as a perk if you have a Patreon site as well. But for now, you are ready to create your listings, price it competitively, and pretty soon you'll start earning that passive income we are all striving for. So that's my full process of creating a digital coloring book, from idea to messy sketches to a fully polished product that people can buy online and start using instantly. But if you're ready to start selling your coloring book as an actual paperback, go ahead and click into this video and I'll show you how to self-publish your coloring book on Amazon KDP.